Welcome to the City of Santa Monica and the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, Santa Monica Lodge 906 Memorial Day Ceremony. I'm Kevin Steck. I'm a veteran who served over 30 years in the United States Navy and a member of the Santa Monica Elks Lodge. It's my honor to serve as today's MC. I would first like to thank the Santa Monica Lodge esteemed loyal knight, Eileen Nebel, for all our hard work in chairing this event, and to the City of Santa Monica for all their support in bringing this event back after a pause during COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise if you're able to, remove your caps, as Team 3, California State Army Honor Guard, accompanied by Jim Allen on bagpipes, presents the colors. Then, Gloria Steck, the Exalted ruler for the Santa Monica Elks Lodge, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the singing of our National Anthem by high school senior Valentina Manco. Color Guard, present the colors.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save us, that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
service to our country. We bow our heads in gratitude for their selflessness and courage. We pray for their families who have lost loved ones in the line of duty. Grant them strength and comfort them in their grief. And may they find solace in knowing that the loss of their loved one was not in vain. We ask for your protection and guidance for all those currently serving in our armed forces. Bless them with courage, wisdom, and a sense of pride as they carry on the legacy of those who have gone before them. Help us to remember that freedom is not free, and that it comes at a great cost. Inspire us to live our life worthy of the sacrifices made by our fallen heroes, and to strive for peace and justice in the world. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Decoration Day stems from efforts to honor the memories of soldiers killed during the Civil War by adorning gravestones with flowers and flags. In 1868, General John Logan, commander of the Union Veterans Group Grand Army of the Republic, issued General Orders Number 11, or the Memorial Day Act. At this time, I would like to read his orders. General Orders Number 11. The 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers and otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observation, no form or ceremony is prescribed, but posts and comrades will in their own way arrange such fitting services and testimonies of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized, comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. What could aid more to assure this result than by cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead who made their breasts a barricade between our country and their foes. Their soldiers' lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, and their deaths the tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that the consecrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely on such hallowed grounds. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of revelant visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism of avarice or neglect, no ravages of time, testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. If other eyes grow dull, and other hands slack, and other hearts cold in the solemn trust, or shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remains in us, let us then, at the appointed time, gather round their sacred remains and garland the passionless mounds above them with choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in this solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those in whom they have left among us, as sacred charges upon the nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widows and orphans. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with the hope that it'll keep up from year to year, while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. He earnestly desires the public press to call attention to this order and lend its friendly aid in bringing it to the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in time for simultaneous compliance therefore. Department commanders would use every effort to make this order effective. By Commander-in-Chief John A. Logan. I would like to introduce the Santa Monica Mayor, Phil Brock.
Good morning, everyone, and we're very happy here at Santa Monica's Municipal Cemetery today, where so many of our heroes are buried from the 1890s, 1880s on till today. And I want to start by introducing some of the people that I see in the audience who are here, and then I'm very honored to have Councilmember Gleam Davis here. There. I'm honored to have Councilmember Parra here today, and especially honored to have Vice Mayor Lana Negrete here as well. I'm going to have each of them come up and say a few words, but I want to start just by recognizing some of the people here today. The Exalted ruler for the Santa Monica Elks Lodge, Gloria Steck. Dr. Bernie Harris from the Air Force, Matt Millett, Jewish War veteran, Michael Cates, a Vietnam veteran. I saw a member of our State Board of Equalization standing over there. Mr. Vasquez, it's good to see you here. Thank you. And I see you're wearing the same pin I always wear. I like that. Councilmember Davis, would you like to come up and say a few words? And then I'll finish and come back and talk to you in a few minutes.
I want to be brief because this is all about remembering the people who paid that last full measure in defense of our freedom and dignity. But as the mother of a disabled vet and the mother-in-law of a current Army officer, I just want to say how wonderful it is to see so many people coming out today and remembering those that have come before. And as a family member of people who served in the military, I want to honor not only those who gave that last full measure, who paid the ultimate price, but the families that they left behind. So thank you all for coming here today.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Parra.
Good morning. Just want to echo what Councilmember Davis said. It's a beautiful thing to be able to bring this back to Santa Monica. It's so important for us to honor all our service members, those that have fallen, both family members and those that are currently serving. My father served in the Vietnam War, and so I just wanted to keep it brief as well. I just want to thank you all for your service.
Vice Mayor Lana Negrete.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really honored to be here. My father is resting here until we have his service, so it feels very special today. I feel I have him here with me. As a niece, a stepdaughter, and a cousin of those who have served and continue to serve, this day is very special to me, and I just want to thank everybody, all the family members, all the people who continue to serve our country and our city. This day is not about Cyber Monday. It's not about the barbecues. It's about remembering those fallen heroes and remembering those who continue to serve us so that we can have the freedoms we enjoy today. So blessed to be here, and hope you have a beautiful day.
I got that. I want to introduce some other special guests, and if you can just hold your applause till I'm done, and then we'll acknowledge them all at once. From the Salvation Army, James Fleming. from the American Legion, Post 177, Venice, California, longtime Elk, Frank Frazier. From Republican Women in Santa Monica, Linda Lancaster. From the Santa Monica branch of the Daughters of the American Revolution, Susan Rosenthal and Linda Martinez. From the Culver City Emblem Club, 254, Irma Santiago. And Women of the Moose, 809, Irma Santiago also. She has 2 hats today. Alan Katz, Post 118 of the Jewish War Veterans. Representing them was Commander Matthew Millen. From the Santa Monica Democrats and a veteran himself and a peer commissioner, I think I saw his Army hat a little while ago, Dan Hall. From the American Red Cross, Dr. Bernard Harris and Diana Boyd are some of the other people that are here, and I think we should all give a round of applause with them to our Santa Monica firefighters and our Santa Monica police officers who are here with us. And while I was thinking about what to say, I started looking through, the quotes we all look through on Google. And I thought about briefly this morning, my father was a veteran, and on my father's side of the family, they started fighting for our country in the American Revolution. And every single member of the men's part of my family until this generation fought for America. So I want to honor all of them and my father as well today for being veterans, for having sacrificed for the good of all, the good of the country. But this is about the people who not survived, but died in defense of all of our freedoms and liberties. And I thought I'd just do a couple of quotes instead of a long speech. But first one from General George Patton. It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God such men lived. And then from one Republican president and one Democratic president, we're even-handed. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for. It must be protected and handed on for them to do the same. President Reagan. And those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. Franklin Roosevelt. And lastly, a poem for you from Claire Horner. Do not stand by my grave and weep. I'm not there. I do not sleep. I'm the thousand winds that blow. I'm the diamond glints of snow. I'm the sunlight on ripened grain. I'm the gentle autumn rain. As you awake with morning's hush, I am the swift, upflinging rush of quiet birds in circling flight. I am the day transcending night. Do not stand by my grave and cry. I'm not there. I did not die. And we all know that our veterans who sacrificed for our country, we honor them on Memorial Day. We honor them every day because they made sacrifices not for themselves. They made sacrifices for all of us, living and those yet who will live in our country. Thank you very much for being here. I'm so thrilled to see our Memorial Day ceremony restarted. Thank you. Valentina, can you give the singer of our Star Spangled Banner? She is a graduating senior at Santa Monica High School, and she's a wonderful soloist and a member of almost every choir at Santa Monica High School, and has a wonderful career ahead of her. So thank you for that. And I thank everyone for being here. The next person up is Michelle. You're the esteemed leading knight of Elks 906, and you're going to make a presentation of what I see over there are some absolutely stunning wreaths.
As I call the community partner's name and the person that will be carrying the wreath, please take it up to the columbarium, up the steps, and place it, and then you can come back down on this side. So first we will have the Santa Monica City Council, Mayor Bill Brock and CC.
Let's all walk up together. It's really heavy?
Yes.
Lana, do you want to take the other side? Oh, it is.
Lana, do you want me to do it?
Oh, here. Wait a minute, Lana, let it go, let it go. Mr. Sutherland? Yep. And Mr. Massini, both of you, or two of you will walk it up, okay? And we'll walk up behind it. How's that? How about right here? Right there. Right here.
Presented by Woodlawn Cemetery. Next is all and Linda Martinez. Jewish war veterans, presented by Commander Matthew Moore.
scared me.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Good. Hi, Tom.
At this time, the Oceaneers will sing Irish Blessing.
Thank you. Phil, where are you? Where's Phil? Right here. Phil. Phil's got a couple more things to recognize.
Nobody's ever accused me of being brief. But there are two things. Back in 2014, I believe, Mayor and Councilmember Bob Holbrook had the pillars around the corner dedicated to the veterans who won awards while they were alive for being great service people. And I encourage all of you to walk around the corner and take a look at that before you leave and pay homage to our veterans who passed away in the duty of their country. I also want to mention we have a relatively recent Medal of Honor winner, Joe Gandara. Joe Gandara was a private who graduated from Santa Monica High School, grew up a little ways from here on Frank Street, went to Edison, went to John Adams, went to Samuel High, enlisted immediately, went to France, and was killed in the invasion of France. He saved members of his platoon by storming an enemy gun nest, killed those people but died in the process, but he saved his fellow servicemen. He was recommended for a Medal of Honor, and then because of his ethnicity, he was a Mexican-American, he was denied the Medal of Honor posthumously until President Obama ordered a review of all veterans who might have been skipped from honors because of their race, their color. He was awarded a Medal of Honor, and I can't remember where his tombstone is right now, but you'll notice it because it has the United States Medal of Honor regalia on top of it. And Joe Gandara was honored by our city by renaming Stewart Street Park into Gandara Park to forever recognize his sacrifice, his noble sacrifice for his fellow men in France during World War II. Thank you.
introduce today's guest speaker. Doug Woodhams is a colonel in the United States Marine Corps, having served on active duty in the reserves for the past 28 years. He is deployed in service to his country 5 times, including 2 combat tours to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan. Doug is currently a sergeant with the Santa Monica Police Department and served the Santa Monica community in a number of police assignments for the past 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Woodhams.
Thank you, Mayor, for pointing out the pillars. I was actually looking at those earlier, saw one name I do recognize. And I, like the Mayor, encourage everyone to take a look and reflect. As was mentioned, I have 2 responsibilities, one to the community here as a Santa Monica police officer and one to our nation as a Marine Corps infantry officer. I started the day, in fact, wearing a different uniform. I was here at 0500 starting day watch patrol in my police uniform, and my chain of command was gracious to allow me to change uniforms and speak to you in this capacity. But before the day is over, I'm going to be back in the other uniform, back out on the streets. But in my hubbub, thank you for that. In the hustle and bustle of changing over uniforms over there and getting ready to be here for you, I left the side door on my patrol car open, and I'm over here getting all ready, and a young man walks up to me and says, Colonel, I served with you in Iraq, 4th LAR. You remember me, Staff Sergeant Korea. And I do remember you, Staff Sergeant Luis Korea, with his daughter here. He's like, hey, don't worry. You left your car door open, but I closed it for you. And I'm like, you were watching my 6 back in Iraq, and now you're still watching my 6 today, so thank you for that. In fact, in the spirit of exactly that, the more I talk, the less I want you to think of me here, and I want you, if I've done my job right, to think more and more of those of whom I speak. I wrote some words down, and I'm going to be going at times off my script. I wanted to save this for posterity, and at times I'm going to be just shooting from the hip, but at all times it's from the heart. Trust me. So good morning. It is a beautiful Memorial Day. We were blessed with that. And by the way, if you wonder, because I've been asked this several times already, what am I supposed to say? Do I say Happy Memorial Day? Do I come up to a veteran? What do I, people, they don't know. So I'm not going to be, it's not for me, it's for those. Okay, I know people mean well. And we can be happy. I prefer, I'll suggest this to you. The same thing I'm going to say to you. Have a blessed Memorial Day weekend. It's very fitting. And I really do appreciate all of you being here. I really do, and I'm overjoyed at the multi-generational response. We've got some seasoned veterans that could talk and tell stories of their own, for sure. And we've got the little kids, and thank you to the families bringing their little ones. I love it. Thank you for being here. So when I give you my own background, it's, again, only so that you know the lens by which I view the world, and I want that to be a vehicle by which you can see the others of whom I speak, and that is my sincere hope. Now, a couple of the ones I'm going to speak about, just real quick. My dad and my uncle, they contributed to my being here, and they didn't know it at the time, but my dad and uncle both joined the Navy during the Vietnam War, and my dad told me, I don't really understand what this war is about, not sure I agree with it, but people are getting drafted all over the place. If I don't go, someone else will have to. And that really stuck with me. And my uncle served on the one of the hospital ships right off the coast of Vietnam, and just saw the constant stream of wounded and dying flown aboard the ship, sometimes just staged in cots on the ship deck because they were running out of room in the surgical beds. And he said, and I'll never forget this, I have the utmost respect for those Marines, but I would never want to be one of them. So how that played into me becoming a Marine, I don't know. But both of those men contributed. And again, that's just a viewpoint I'm bringing. So as I joined the Marines, I went to Officer Candidate School in 1993, and I was blown away. In fact, I kind of went on a, let's see what this is like. You know, I was in college to get an education. Let's try this out. Blown away. I had never seen anyone take anything so seriously in my entire life, and I had to be around people like that. One of the people I was around was our top graduate, a guy named Alan Rao. He had already served 7 years on active duty as an enlisted Marine, and now he was going through Officer Candidate School alongside me, and he was the stud, the guy we all wanted to emulate. He was top of our class in the physical fitness score, stud. Top in academics, smart. Top in the leadership award, we all just looked up to him. So of course he's the honor graduate. We all wanted to be Alan Rao. And then even as I went to the very tough infantry officer school, he was the guy kind of mentoring me and coaching, helping me along. Again, you want to be around people that you want to be like, and he was one of those guys. Went on to serve 4 years on active duty with light armored reconnaissance. Then I became a police officer here and stayed in the reserves because, again, had to be around those people. First combat tour was in 2003. We were going to spearhead the invasion into Iraq, leading the way for the 1st Marine Division. I told my former classmate, that stud, Alan Rao, remember that guy? We were full of bravado. Everyone wanted to be on the first wave, the first ones to go. We were Marines. We signed up for this. And, you know, the guy I had always looked up to and was better than me at everything he did, I was like, hey, guess it looks like you're going to miss out. And again, I want to defend myself. We were all full of bravado at the time. But I chided him a bit, probably more than I needed to, because he was stuck in a stateside billet doing responsibilities that he had to fulfill, and he wasn't going into combat with all of us. And we did lead the way into Iraq, and Staff Sergeant Korea and the other Marines that we were with, folks, they were amazing. You would be so utterly impressed by the brave young men and women we served with. Long stretches, no sleep. One of the Marines we served with was Staff Sergeant Clark, an EOD bomb tech assigned to our unit. And he would, time after time, come out to defuse bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. There were so many of them, and he kept coming out. In fact, wearing himself thin, and I'm like, Staff Sergeant, you can't keep doing this. Like, but I have to. That's what the job demands. And there was, sure enough, the day came. In fact, he was known to the enemy. They called him the bomb breaker. In fact, they set up something for him. He had already, by the time he already had a Silver Star in combat for defusing a bomb while simultaneously directing the Marines around him in a firefight, he was going to another bomb that was out there, and he had a ZOD crew with him, and something didn't look right to him. And he's like, no, I'm going to go forward by myself to check this out because I don't have a good feeling about this. And he's protecting his Marines. And they had something, in fact, it was a decoy, and they had something specially in place for him as he approached and took him out, as he's in the act of going forward to protect the ones behind him. Posthumously promoted to gunnery sergeant, Gunny Clark, again, already a recipient of a Silver Star. And men that I served with like that, especially when you're in a leadership role, you leaders of the city, anyone that's had the burden of leadership knows, you have this great responsibility for the men and women that you're responsible for. And you always ask yourself afterwards, could I have done better? Remember my friend Alan Rao? So as my tour ends and I come back, he goes over. He did get his turn to go. And he was company commander of an infantry rifle company. And in Iraq, it was a bridge, and something didn't look right about the bridge. And just like leaders do, he kept his Marines back, went over to check it out himself. And an explosive device took him out. Again, going forward to protect others. And that's when you start to ask, what was the last thing I said to him? And I just want to implore all of you, you never know the last time you're going to be talking to someone. You just don't. And so, just all of us as a challenge, season our speech. And I'm talking to myself right now. You never know the last time you're talking to someone. I can't imagine what Dawn and the two kids, Dawn was Alan's wife, to this day, especially on days like today, what they're going through. More deployments would come. Second time I went to Iraq, I was in Fallujah, and I started a Bible study. I'm going to get a little personal here. In fact, every combat deployment, I started a Bible study. Just whoever comes, okay? And we would meet in a dusty building in Fallujah, and whoever could make it based on their patrol schedules would show up. And you'd see some of the same guys keep showing up. Corporal Felipe Barbosa, Lance Corporal Jacobs, PFC Brown. They kept showing up for different reasons. Jacobs would challenge me. He was like, this makes no sense. And then Barbosa was like, you would pull him aside so it's not coming from an officer, and he would kind of explain things, and talk them through. But they kept coming. Now, under really amazing circumstances, it's a different story, but Corporal Barbosa led PFC Brown and Lance Corporal Jacobs in the Believer's Prayer. They came to the Lord. Again, this is personal and coming from the heart. The very next day, I was in the CMOC, Civil Military Operations Center, trying to restart the government of Fallujah. I was meeting with the city leaders, and guess who's guarding the CMOC? PFC Brown, Corporal Jacobs, or Lance Corporal Jacobs. And we had a Chechen sniper active in the area, and he was precise enough to aim shots between the helmet and the plate carrier and hits PFC Brown on the neck. He goes down. Lance Corporal Jacobs comes running over to check on his buddy. He goes down. They almost fall on top of each other. And on the same day, Corporal Barbosa, again, this is the day after he led both of those two to Christ. Same day, his convoy is trying to make a detour because the roads were so laden with IEDs. They go on a road that was a poor road. The road gives out. His vehicle rolls. He's injured. And he's comforting everyone around him that he's going to be okay. Takes him longer to die, but he dies as well. All three. There's my Bible study. And again, you ask, should I have said something different? Could I have done something different? Could I have done something better? I was in the CMOC. They were keeping me safe. And here I am talking to you today. And they're not. On my third tour, I went to Afghanistan. I was running an academy to train the Afghan national military and their police that they partnered with our Marines as they were going through Marja. There was a big offensive going on. And that fighting in Marja was severe. And every day at the headquarters, I'm seeing 2, 3, sometimes 4 caskets with someone would put a flag on them, and we would render the slow salute as they're getting loaded in the back as they're starting their long journey back somewhere like here. And every day I'm checking the rosters, and sometimes I would see those I knew. One of them, the guy I went to basic course with, he was going to become a pilot, and I was going the infantry route, and we would chide each other about who's better, pilots or grunts. And, we grunts, back me up on this, South Korea, but we take pride in the hardship that we go through and the lack of sleep and the just toiling through the mud, and that's what we signed up for. And those pilots, they gotta... I knew we had one here. In fact, yep, Dan Hall, what was it, Apaches? Thank you for your service. Yeah, so you pilots, gotta have your beauty rest. What is it, 8 hours of sleep mandatory before you get in the, behind it. And Matt, Weiss and I would go back and forth. Grunts are better, that kind of thing. I'm like, you guys, we have to put up with all this, no sleep and everything. And he's like, well, you should have been a pilot. And my response was, I can't say it here. Well, the day came, Again, fighting in Afghanistan was thick at the time. Ground unit in combat. We called it a TIC, troops in combat, or contact. And so the TIC was, they were pinned down. They couldn't move. They called for air support. Matt Weiss flew Cobras, much like your Apaches, and he and his co-pilot, they made a gun run to support the troops in contact. Still in contact, still can't move. You know, as one of these low-flying helicopters, your second gun run is going to be more dangerous. And he knew that. But they're still in contact, they still need me. The second time around, they got him. RPG took down the helicopter, both he and his co-pilot killed. And again, just like with Alan Rao, I'm like, what was the last thing I said to Matt Weiss? Was it an argument? Was I chiding him? Was it... And again, I want to implore each of us, and I'm talking to myself, watch what you say. He leaves behind his beautiful wife, a Chinese immigrant named Wei. They were in love. They were high school sweethearts. They had 2 daughters that were about the same age as my 2 boys at the time. Others to mention, Rick Crocker, his name is on the pillar over there. Our own community has paid a price. I look back on 28 years of service, moments of great pride, great trial. I wouldn't trade a moment of any of it. I'm going to be judged one day. I'm going to stand before my Maker. Someday that flag is going to drape my casket, and if my wife is still alive, it's going to be presented to her. But in the meantime, we're here. I can't predict the future, but I believe there's going to be future Memorial Day observances where there's more names to discuss. The brave young soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines that are joining now, that many of whom were born after 9/11, they know this. And whatever happens in world events, you know, whatever political forces or world events unfold, one thing I'll tell you, the longer I live, there's 2 conclusions I come away with. There's no bottom to the depths of the depravity that man can achieve. Boy, some of the things you see overseas, or here, or anywhere. That's one thing. But another thing is, we all, and I'm guilty of it, you know, our generational, you know, the greatest generation, I can't hold anything against those guys. My goodness. But there's the baby boomers and the Gen Xers and the Gen Millennials and all the kind of thing, and we go at each other millennial things, and we talk about the young generation. Oh my goodness, what's happening with the younger kids coming? I'm telling you, the longer I live, and I'm still serving, and I still see young Marines, 19, 18, and they blow you away. Just like they did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's amazing. You'd be so impressed to see these young and soldiers and those that are coming. There are still shepherds and sheepdogs and protectors being raised up in our communities. And these kids, a lot of them, let's call them for what they are, they're kids. And they know this. They know there's trouble in the world, and they're signing up, and there will be more names to discuss at future Memorial Days. And yet they go anyway. Why? And I think it's just like what my dad said. If I don't, someone else will have to. And when they go to serve their country, let's not make it a political apparatus or anything. What does the country mean? It's you and me. That's the country. The flag represents us. And when they go to serve, whether they understand the greater machinations of whatever's going on, they're going so that you and I can be here. Let's picture, let's put yourselves in the place of a young man who's on a chopper approaching an area that will be his responsibility for the next 6 months. It's completely under the control of warlords who will be shooting at him. Call goes for 1 minute out. Make sure he has a round in the chamber. Flight chief looks around, signals. He looks out the what do you call that thing? the portal. 10 feet till touchdown, he says, so the pilot knows. The roar of the engine picks up, dust starts kicking up. The young man's leg starts to quiver with adrenaline. No more time to look at the photos of his family. Gate's gonna lower in a couple seconds. Crew chief says, 3 feet, 2 feet. That's been happening over and over. It's gonna keep happening. And they go anyway. Now I'm gonna read off a list of names. The list could be longer. These are individuals that have touched me, that I have led or served alongside or knew. And every one of them is a personal story. And this list, again, could be longer, but these are the ones that I felt compelled to talk to you about today. Staff Sergeant Vincent Sebastiansky, we called him Ski, killed in a training accident in which a CH-46 helicopter crashed. It was trying to do deck maneuvers off the coast here, actually. December 9th, 1999. That was a peacetime. Corporal Douglas Marenco Reyes, there's one of our 4th LAR guys, Staff Sergeant, killed in action May 18th, 2003, Iraq. I mentioned Gunny Clark. I mentioned Major Alan Rao. Major Rick Crocker, I mentioned him. Killed in action May 27, 2005, Iraq. I mentioned Lance Corporal Jacobs, Lance Corporal Brown, both killed on January 7, 2006 in Iraq. I already mentioned Corporal Barbosa. Sergeant Major Rob Cottle. Anyone here knew him? Good friend of mine. Another 4th LAR guy. Killed in Afghanistan, March 24th, 2010. Major Weiss, I spoke about him. Then there was those for whom the battle continued after they got home, and I'm going to say some of their names as well, and I've been giving, for 2 of them I gave the eulogy and presented flags to next of kin. Lieutenant Colonel Sean Roche passed away April 27, 2017 in Tennessee. Lieutenant Colonel Adam Collier passed away March 11, 2018, California. Captain Jamie Nicholson passed away January 1st, 2022, California. Sergeant Art Espinoza, another one of our 4th LAR guys, Junior, passed away March 22nd, 2022. I have the great honor and the great burden of carrying their memories, and I ask you to help me remember them. So how do we approach this Memorial Day? I'd like to make it like a New Year's Day. What do we all do on New Year's Day? I'm going to work out more. I'm going to do this less. I'm going to do this. It's a day of resolutions, right? I would like Memorial Day to be like that, where we resolve to do better. Because that's, when I read off those names, that's what I ask myself. Can I do better? And not in a debilitating anxiety type of way, but in a motivating type of way. We can do better. For them, for the names I read off. There's a verse from Scripture, John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man laid down his life for his friends. Each of those names I read off, they laid down their life for their country. And again, what does that mean? That means for you and for me. That's love, folks. Now, on Memorial Day, the general order that you read, I was paying attention as you spoke. I really appreciated the part. In fact, it stuck with me that there is not a required ceremony, but it is required that you observe and render respect. And that's the spirit I hope to uphold here. Now, one of the things that we do with the flag on Memorial Day is that it flies at half staff until noon, and then it goes to full staff. And what's that the country is saying? We're mourning and the fallen, but kind of like General Patton saying, don't mourn, resolve. And that's what the flag goes up to full staff at noon, and we are pushing on as a country. So what is a salute? I happen to be a colonel, so I get a lot of salutes. So if someone of lesser rank passes me, they render a salute, and every time, by obligation, I'm going to return the salute. Now, when we play TAP's 21-gun salute at a funeral, what is that? That is the country returning a salute to a young man or woman who has done their all and given their all in service to the country. So that young person, beautiful human being, their final act was a salute to the country, and the country returns the salute. In Memorial Day, we kind of see that with the flag going back up. So again, I want to challenge each of us here. Each of those names I listed off, and all of the names on those pillars over there, and many more names I'm looking out on the crowd that could be mentioned. They gave their final salute to their country, which again is to you and me. What do we do? How do we return the salute? That's my challenge to each one of us. And again, I really, really thank you for being here. Thank you. And have a blessed Memorial Day.
Thank you, Doug. We thank you for your service, and we thank you for the sacrifices of all the names that you read off today. At this time, the Oceaneers are going to sing Grand Old Flag.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Honest, you're a grand old flag. You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Keep your eye on the grand old flag. Grand old flag.
Thank you. Doug mentioned it, but we'll repeat it here. So each Memorial Day at sunrise, U.S. flags are to be raised to full staff briskly, then lowered to half-staff position where they will remain until noon. At noon, flags are to be raised to full staff and will be displayed there for the remainder of the day. The first half of the day at half-staff honors those who sacrifice their lives, while the second half of the day at full staff honors those who are still with us. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise if you're able to. Move your caps as the Santa Monica Police Explorers, accompanied by Jim Allen, will raise the flag. Please be seated. At this time, demonstrators will sing God Bless America.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. America, my own America, my home.
Thank you. Palisades High School junior James Ball will now play taps. Have a blessed Memorial Day. Thank you.